Alright, this is a response to Rambo Ras 5 Guilty Pleasure movies in your collection. Um, I'm pretty sure it's going to go over 10 minutes, so if it does, I'll just attach the second part underneath this one. And I might even do 10 random guilty pleasures because I have one VHS and five DVD, well, actually four DVDs, and then one DVD case with 8 movies in it. You know, with two dual-sided discs with 2 movies on each side. So, um, fuck it, I'll just start with the VHS. First off, we got Batman and Robin. Yeah, I know everybody hated it. I actually didn't know people hated it until a few years later when I just, read on the internet. Like, I didn't have internet until maybe year 2000, and then I started looking up movie reviews and message boards, about, movies, like JoeBlow.com. That's where I found out people hated this movie. I didn't really get why until I saw Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, which, I found out were, based on the comics. Not the old comics, but not the old, pre-60s comics, but the 80s Frank Miller dark novels or whatever. See, I'm not a comic book reader. I knew Batman was a comic book character, but I'd never read any of the comics from any time. And the only frame of reference I had, for Batman was the 60s show with all the pow, wham, bam, thwack, whatever. It was really campy and silly. So then when I saw Tim Burton's Batman, which was actually the first movie I ever saw in theaters, um, I was impressed by, kind of the dark tone to it compared to the show in the 60s. And it had a slight campiness to it, but it was more dark than silly. And I appreciated that. But then again, it was Tim Burton, so there's always kind of a slight silly undertone to all his movies. And then, Batman Returns, that was kind of, I guess, equally campy and serious or dark. And it was all Tim Burton. So, I was a fan of the first Batman, Batman Returns, more Tim Burton-ish, I guess. He had more creative control over that, or so I heard. So, and then when I saw Batman Forever, I figured that'd be, the next logical step from the tone of Batman Returns, where, I guess, different director, took place later in time, so it was more futuristic. It wasn't really dark and gothic, but it was just futuristic and, I guess, campy in a way, but still, I don't know how to describe it, but it just seemed a logical progression from Batman Returns, Batman Forever. It's a little futuristic, colorful cinematography, wasn't so gloomy, and I kind of thought that was refreshing. The futuristic, colorful tone to it, and it was a little more lighthearted. And honestly, like, I was kind of blown away by the action and all that stuff, and so much that I didn't notice the silliness of it all. And I was really into Jim Carrey, and I always liked Val Kilmer from Willow. That was probably my favorite role that he was in. Matt Mardigan from Willow. So it was good to see him in something, see him as another another hero or something like that. And I thought he did a adequate job. Kind of had same face and voice or similar. I don't know. It worked for me. So in logical progression, you know, you got Batman and Robin, even more colorful, more futuristic, and you know they kind of amped up the humor a bit. And I didn't know that was like a big no-no for Batman because I didn't know how serious he was supposed to be. So I kind of figured they were sort of revisiting the campiness of the '60s show, but in an updated sort of '90s, you know, futuristic kind of way. You know, especially with the cinematography and CGI and stuff like that. And you know, the '90s, it was a big time of like one-liners and um, just you know, a lot of movies had humor in it. I guess a lot of stuff I watched, you know, had like just the obligatory, you know, funny lines, funny one-liners and shit like that. You know, I've always been a Schwarzenegger fan, so you know, of his action movies and his comedy, I thought, you know, I've always thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was pretty funny. You know, he's funny in Twins, Junior. Um, you know, I like his sense of humor too. So him being all silly in this, like that, didn't bother me. Even though the puns were corny as hell. You know, let's kick some eyes. I forget the other ones, but then you got George Clooney as Batman. I didn't think he was a good choice for Batman, but I honestly I wasn't. I didn't care that much. I mean, you know, I kind of thought his face was a little bit weird for the Batman suit, but his voice kind of matched. You know, it kind of fit Batman, and you know, with the light-hearted tone to it, you know, I figured, oh well, fuck it, you know, don't take it so seriously. So, you know, I laughed at all the little jokes and shit, like the Batman credit card. You know, I didn't know that was a big no-no. Like now that I think about it, you know, it's like why would Batman even go around with a credit card? Why would he go shopping as Batman? He's trying to conceal his identity. But yeah, you know, it had, you know, the fight scenes had martial arts and everything, and then, you know, circumstantial humor and stuff like that. And I didn't care about the bat nipples. I wasn't paying attention to that. Although I did like the ass shots. You know, I think maybe not George Clooney, but Chris O'Donnell. You know, he's got a nice ass. What can I say? And then there's Uma Thurman and Alicia Silverstone. I wasn't too familiar with Uma Thurman, but you know, I saw Alicia Silverstone in Clueless and what else? The Crush. You know, I really liked her in those two. So, you know, it was nice to see her again. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I walked out of the movie, you know, entertained. It was entertaining. And when I don't know. I just couldn't understand, or I didn't realize people really hated it. You know, I didn't pay attention to all the critics, and I didn't even pay attention to what other people said about it. But now that I've seen Batman Begins and Dark Knight, I can see why people didn't like this. You know, it was um, really went against who Batman, you know, really is and what he's all about. But for the time when I saw it, I haven't seen it in a while, but I liked it when I saw it when it first came out. I had no other frame of reference, so I figured this was, you know, it was Batman, whatever. Fuck it. It was entertaining. It's the best I can say about it.